The Sui Empire. When was it? The Sui Empire existed in the late 15th century to the early 6th century. It was founded in 589 by Emperor Di. It accomplished many things, including having a stable economy, building granaries for a cheap source of food during famine, making the Great Canal, and assisting with the completion of the Great Wall of China, all before its decline and eventual fall in 618. Where was the Sui Empire? The Sui Empire covered a sizable part of where is now eastern China and Vietnam. It covered the coast and stretched out west, taking up about 4,100,000 square kilometers. It had 9 provinces. The capital was Chang'an, which was then renamed Daxing. This lasted until 605, until the capital was moved to Liangwang. How long did the Sui Empire last? The Sui Empire was short-lived. It lasted from 589 to 618, a total of 29 years. It only had 3 emperors over its time, which is a lot for an empire of not even 30 years. It also unified China for the first time after being divided between the northern and southern dynasties for over a century. It was taken over by the Tang dynasty in 618. Leaders. The Sui Empire had 3 emperors over the course of its 29 years. It started with Di in 589. Di was the stepson of the Empress of Northern Zhou, making him the emperor. He ruled until 604, when his place was taken by Di. Di ruled for 14 years and was followed by Di, who was emperor until the empire fell in 618. Decline. The Sui Empire's decline began when the people started to resent the emperor, which had been Di at the time. The weight of their accomplishments and the stress of losing their battles put quite a strain on the people, and they began to fall apart despite efforts to bring them back together. The people started to rebel against the government, and the dynasty fell into the hands of Emperor Gaozi of Tang. This began the rule of the Tang dynasty. The Grand Canal. The Grand Canal was beginning to be built in 605. The political rule of the Sui dynasty made it possible to even build the Grand Canal. The Grand Canal is the world's largest man-made waterway at 1,100 miles and is now one of the most popular tourist destinations in China. The canal made transportation in the capital Liang much easier. The Great Wall of China. The Great Wall is spread over 13,171 miles. The Great Wall of China was mainly built for preventing the invasion of nomad dynasty and protection of the Silk Road trade. Sui dynasty even repaired the walls of former dynasties, but mainly in northern areas. The Sui dynasty gradually restored its rule over China from the wall. Military in the Sui Empire. Big navy battles got the Sui Empire going in the first place. In 580, Emperor Di died and Emperor Di inherited the throne. Emperor Di was only 8 years old at the time, so Di assisted him as the prime minister and controlled the military power of the northern Zhou. In 618, Emperor Di carried out a series of military, which was a sign of good progress. Reign of Emperors. The 3 emperors of the Sui dynasty are Di, Di, and Di. Emperor Di reigned from 581 to 604. Emperor Di reigned from 604 to 618, and Emperor Di reigned from 617 and 618, which was the shortest reign of all the emperors. Wars. The Sui Empire led a series of massive expeditions to Goguryeo. Emperor Yang requested many soldiers for that campaign, and the army was so enormous that it was recorded in historical texts. This war in Goguryeo, that was located in Korea, resulted in the defeat of the Sui Empire and was a pivotal factor in the collapse of the empire. Religion. Buddhism was the main religion in the Sui Empire. Although the emperor of the unified China relied on Confucian scholars to help him rule, Buddhism was an already widespread religion. This making the emperor wanted to win the whole support of the population, so to do so he had to rely on Buddhism. Emperor Yingzhong was himself an incarnation of a disciple of the Buddha. Poetry in the Sui Empire. Sui poetry represents a continuation between the 6 dynasties and the Tang poetry. The main poets include Lady Huo and Yang Yang, who actually ruled the Sui Empire and who you see in the slide. Social. When Emperor Wen took power of the Sui dynasty, many problems were at hand because of the long wars that had just taken place. He decided to reduce the gap between the rich and poor by following the land equalization system. He did not believe in social separation based on class order. This system is where the land is distributed to all families based on the number of each household member. Economy in the Sui Empire. The Sui Empire was a stable economy that was materialistic and legalist, which means very strict, because they believed military was a big part to the empire's success. During this time, since emperors had spent so much money on construction projects, warfare, and infrastructure improvements, the government built granaries that kept them with a cheap, stable food source. The final topic we will be talking about in the Sui Empire is art. During the Sui Empire, Li Chun developed the stone arch bridge called Anji Bridge that was a key milestone in the development of bridges in the future. Over half of the statues of Buddha and murals were renewed. Also during this reign, artists developed a more unified system of painting.